If you have to put someone on a pedestal, put teachers. They are society's heroes. The duties of a teacher are neither few nor small, but they elevate the mind and give energy to the character. The best teachers are those who show you where to look, but don't tell you what to see. Better than 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with a great teacher. Your heart is slightly bigger than the average human heart, but that's because you're a teacher. Teachers can change lives with just the right mix of chalk and challenges. Teaching is the greatest act of optimism. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. Students, don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It is not what is poured into a student that counts, but what is planted. Teachers have 3 loves: love of learning, love of learners, and the love of bringing the first 2 loves together. The art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery. Education doesn't just make us smarter, it makes us whole. Teaching kids to count is fine, but teaching them what counts is best. I am indebted to my father for living, but to my teacher for living well. A teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops. I like a teacher who gives you something to take home to think about besides homework. I have learned silence from the talkative, toleration from the intolerant, and kindness from the unkind. Yet, strange, I am ungrateful to those teachers. A good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. A teacher who is attempting to teach without inspiring the pupil with a desire to learn is hammering on cold iron. Good teachers know how to bring out the best in students. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Change is the end result of all true learning. Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. The learning process continues until the day you die. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. Develop a passion for learning. If you do, you will never cease to grow. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. They know enough who know how to learn. Education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence. They cannot stop me. I will get my education if it is in the home, school, or any place. Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. He who opens a school door closes a prison. Education is the ability to meet life's situations.
Good evening, everybody. Could you please confirm if I'm audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Thank you, Sunil. Good evening once again. Thank you all for registering and attending this one-week national level online faculty development program on outcome-based education and essential AI tools for teachers. This is organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell IQAC of St. Thomas College, Palai, in association with the Kerala State Higher Education Council, the KSHEC. We would like to welcome Dr. Sunil Job, who is the adjunct faculty of Marine College, Kotikano Autonomous, and will be the resource person for today. And we would like to also welcome all the FDP participants of today. Now, about this FDP, this is a one-week FDP program with live sessions of the timing from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. We expect you to be present on all the days. Now, fee for the LMS access and processing of certificate is rupees 400. All the participants who have paid the processing fee will receive the LMS access, the video recording for all the days, and the provision to download your FDP completion certificate. The procedure for receiving the certificate will be informed to you towards the end of the FTP. If any of you are yet to make the payment, please make the payment of rupees 400 to the account details I will shortly put in the chat. If you are unable to attend any of the live sessions, they will be available in the LMS. We have shared the LMS access details through email to those who have shared the payment proof in WhatsApp till yesterday. Those who have shared the payment proof in WhatsApp today will receive the LMS access details later in the day or by tomorrow. If you find any difficulty in transferring the amount due to the bank's server error, you can try later or tomorrow early morning by scanning the QR code that is given in the brochure. If you have any trouble in attending the WebEx online session, you could also join the YouTube live session, the link of which I've already put in the chat. Now, my name is Sujin Jacob George. I'm working as Global Relations Manager with IPSR Solutions Limited, and I will be the event moderator. Now, coming on to today's session. Today, the topic will be on architecture of OBE and design outcomes. Now, this will be delivered by Dr. Sunil Job, KA, who's Adjunct Faculty, Managed College, Kotikalam Autonomous. Dr. Sunil Job has 30 plus years of experience in teaching and 30 plus years in corporate consultancy. He holds a PhD in mathematical education and has been an associate professor at MG University College of Teacher Education from 1999. He has started his career as assistant professor at Carmela Rani Training College, Kollam. He has served as visiting team member of NCT for grant of recognition and as a resource person for Affiliation Renewal Committee of MG University. He is an active blogger in cutting-edge technologies in IT, education, and data science. His areas of interest include research methodology, AI, and Bloom's taxonomy. Dr. Job has published articles in national journals and authored many academic books and a reference manual in mathematics. He has served as resource person for a number of faculty development programs in outcome-based education, data science, e-learning, etc. Currently serving as adjunct professor in College Kottakkal Autonomous and Chief of Academics, IPSR Solutions Limited. Over to you, sir.
So, thank you, Sujin, for the wonderful introduction. So, let us start with our second day's program. Obviously, previous day we had a very good analysis into about the Bloom's taxonomy, and I have just made it clear that how significant is Bloom's taxonomy in the way of implementation of outcome-based education. Actually, at the outset of our technical section, I have just mentioned how this Bloom's taxonomy spans the entire process of outcome-based educations, and we had a very good reflection about Bloom's taxonomy in the previous segment. So today we'll be just going into the architecture of outcome-based education. There, actually, it is an introductory segment to the outcome-based education where we'll be going into the building block, or rather the architecture of the outcome-based education, and we'll be just drilling into the architecture and just will be slicing out the different components which has been included in this architecture, like program outcomes, program specific outcomes, and what they really mean. That is something very important, because up to these days we know that the outcome-based education is being confined to the what we could say that websites in the portals in the form of POPSUs. But now we are at the edge of implementing it and giving life to the outcome-based education in the new education policy 2020. So there is a drastic changes in the methodologies, strategies, and how we have to stride through the educational process in the lines of outcome-based education. So in order to actualize it in its real sense, we have to digest what exactly the outcome-based education and what does it signifies and how we can make it a reality in our classrooms. So all these things are very important. So for making it a reality or to actualize it in the finest form, we should have the clarity regarding this architecture and what this stands for and what is the real differences between outcome-based education and objective-based instruction, which we have been adopting for the long period. So what this change is all about is outcome-based education a hectic process. How can we perform what you could say assessments in an outcome-based educational format? How can we write outcome? What is the structure of an outcome? What is the characteristics of a good outcome? And how can we evaluate this outcome at both the stages? I mean, at the formative stage means when you are implementing or when you're going through the classrooms, interacting with the students. How can you interact with the students in an outcome-based format, and how we can perform formative evaluation? That is something very, very important when you are delivering classes to the students in an outcome-based approach. So how we can customize, how we can implement these formative evaluation tools, and obviously in the latter part of our workshops, we'll be introducing to you, and obviously we'll be getting a complimentary app of AI app for developing formative evaluation tools, and obviously for writing outcomes. So all these things is yet to come. How we can work along in the outcome-based format, and how can we ascertain whether the outcome is met? How can we this do the assessments in outcome-based format? All these things is a matter of concern when we are going in the real-time implementation of outcome-based education. And definitely these segments, this FDP will be giving some clarity regarding these things, so that you can really make this implementation of outcome-based education meaningful and worthful, so that it will serve the purpose that it is intended for. Being in the this is the second section in the lines. We'll be starting with the architecture, in the sense what is outcome-based education, what are the building blocks of outcome-based education. That will reveal the architecture of outcome-based education. And most important thing is that how to write an outcome, what is the best practices of writing an outcome, what are the practices that we should ignore when we are writing that outcome. These are something very, very, very important. Let us go into our today's segment. And actually, as we have promised yesterday, our segment will not go beyond 9 o'clock. Yesterday we went up to 9:30, so because we had a very long formal section for last day. So don't worry, we will be going into this outcome-based education, and I'll be cautious about the time also. So don't think that it will be a very long and hectic section. It will be very light, comfortable section, because after a very long schedule of the regular classes, coming back and going with the hectic schedule is not really appreciable. So I have that limitations. So I'll be bound to interact with you in that limitations. And don't forget that actually last day Mendes sir has informed that we have meeting in this evening in the live sections, and about 30% of our content will be discussed in this platform. And obviously 70% of the real outcome-based educational hands-on activities lies in the LMS. So those who have taken the access towards the LMS, I repeat that, make the best possible usage of that, because we have got a lot of task and a lot of materials that we have prepared has been showcased there. You will be that is you can enjoy different types of activities, and there are a lot of possibilities for collaborating with your peers. Obviously we know that collaboration helps us to enhance our knowledge. So definitely this LMS is also a platform where you can collaborate and we can develop this concept in a win and win method. Everyone will be winning by sharing. So let us go to today's section without much of intro. I don't think that there is much intro needed at this point of time. So I've got few slides to share with you. Let me share the slides to you. Okay. I think been from whom there is some, to avoid some connectivity issues. I'll be. Okay. Okay. So let me go to the presentation. Okay, now, Sijan, I have the two questions. Whether my screen is visible and my sound is okay. If both okay, then we can.
Yes, you're visible and your audio is.
Okay, thank you, Sijan. Thank you, Sijan. Thank you. So here we go with the day 2. That is the section number 2, where we are starting with. We are taking off. We are taking off with the introduction to OBE and formulation of outcomes. So in this segment, introduction to OBE, we'll be discussing about the architecture of outcome-based education, and we'll be examining the different components that is being projected in the architecture of outcome-based education. And the highlight of the segment will be, I will be giving you a small formula. Rather, I would like to say it as a formula for writing an outcome. So that makes you very easy for writing an outcome. And how to expand that formula for writing a program level outcome, course level outcome, etc., etc. So this will be the nutshell of what we are going to go ahead in this segment. So obviously, before going into our segment, it is always better to check what we have for today, isn't it? What is the menu for today? What is the menu? What we have for today? So here, this will be the agenda for today. That is what and why of OBE. So this is something very important, because if you want to take something wholeheartedly, this question has to be answered. What is the significance? Why it is a need of the hour? So that will give you that is a motivating spirit to dive into it with the wholeheartedly, so that you can make the best out of it. Then this is the architecture, the building block of OBE, or rather the architecture of outcome-based education. And these are the different components that you come across in this architecture, that is program educational objective. One odd man in the outcome family. Actually, the outcome-based education, outcome is the hero, and one odd man which comes in this family is program educational objective. And beyond that, graduate attribute, program outcomes and program specific outcomes, course outcomes. Then how to write a learning outcome. This is the basic, how to write the I will be giving a capsule for writing what you could say a learning outcome, and that capsule could be modified into a course level as well as program level. So this is the basic how to write a basic level outcome. And after writing the basic level outcome, obviously we have to evaluate how your outcome is. So I'll be just giving you some criteria for a quality check of a good outcome. And obviously, we have got some hands-on activity which will happen in our LMS. So that also will be explained by the end of this segment. So this is the menu for today. So we shall go with the first component with the what and why of OBE. So I don't think that there is a better slide than this to make you aware what is the importance of outcome-based education. Actually, this is a study report. This is a study report that has come up in a higher education journal, that is Enhancing University Education. This was one of the report, a study report that has appeared in that journal. So what this study report implies is that this is the status of a group of students who have completed a professional degree program, undergraduate professional degree program. It's an engineering program. So actually, that study was conducted with that particular group. So this is the status of the students who have completed a professional degree program. It's an engineering degree program. So you can just go. You can just check out what is been represented in this chart. Here you can see two axes here, right? An x-axis showcasing the failed students and passed students, and there is a y-axis which which has done some experimental situation. The y-axis is some experimental situation which is being administered with that particular group. Okay, so here I have got some questions to ask you. Because I want you to interact in between, because that will create a rapport between us, because so that is something very important. So the one question which I would like to ask is that, how about the result? Is it a good result or it's a poor result? What is the percentage of pass? What is the percentage of pass in this group? Only about the result. I want to know about the percentage of pass only. What is the percentage of pass? When we say result, we say that that is percentage of students passed. Isn't it? What is the percentage of students passed? Okay, some good answers are coming up. 91% is there. 91% is there. 91% have passed. Okay, obviously at a single look, sometimes you may misunderstand that this 84% has passed. That is, it is not only 84, but 7 is also together with this 84. So whatever comes beyond this line, this is the right side of this line, is the percentage of students passed, and we know that. However, we know that this is nothing to do with the outcome. Only the traditional system, in a traditional system format. The examination is conducted not in an outcome-based format, in a traditional system format, what we have been adopting in the up to this stage before implementation of outcome-based education. In that examination, what is the percentage of students passed? So in the right side, 84 plus 7, 91% of the students is passed. So obviously, when we say that 91% of students get passed, we can say that it is a very good result, because we know that for an engineering program, there will be many supplementary papers, and 91% of students coming up, clearing all the supplementary papers at the first hand, after 4 years, they are passing out with a past degree certificate, means it is a very good result. There's a possibility of publishing it with some extra credentials or flex or something like that. So definitely it is a good result. But when they are put to a test, what is the test? They are given with some industry significant activities to the entire group. So this is the experimental study which is being done. That is the y-axis. Y-axis signifies that the entire students are provided with this is an experimental study. The entire students are provided with some this industrial significant task. So when they are given with that task, only 7% of the students are able to successfully complete that task. 7%. So we know that a professional program prepares the students for that particular profession. But after completing 4 years of degree, though 91% of students have passed, cleared without any supplementary papers, only 7% of the students are able to apply their knowledge, and they are able to perform in the line of what the industry is demanding. So this is the fallacy of our education system. They have got some academical stuff but they are not being able to apply it in their professional platform successfully. So this is something very critical. This is what in the previous years we know that in the news headlines from the CEOs of very prominent companies says that most of the about 93% of the students who are passing out of the Indian universities are not job fit. Suppose if they recruit these students, they have to spend about nearly about 6 months streamlining the students to equipping them to take up the responsibility of the work that they have been employed to. So our academics and the industry has been having a lot gulf and gap. So this is a problem. This is the problem. The students are academically, they are successful, but when they come to the real space of whether it is with their life, or whether in the interaction with the society, or whether in the career space, they are not much successful. They have to acquire more and more skill sets to make them successful in the lines of this. So this is the problem of our educational system. So what outcome-based education focuses that we want the students to be academically sound. Academically sound. Together with that, they should accumulate a bunch of competencies. I repeat, a bunch of competencies that make them successful in their life, in their career, in their social life, etc., etc., etc. So not only the academical inputs should be there. Academical inputs are important. They should be there. But together with that academical inputs, the student should gain a number of competencies. A number of competencies in the sense communication skill, leadership quality, social accountability, ethics, like that. A number of competencies should be acquired. That the education system should ensure that all these competencies also should be acquired together with this academic input, so that they become a productive, competent citizens who are capable to meet the challenges of the society as well as in the workspace. That is what education system want the students to be. So now coming back to outcome-based education. So outcome-based education is an approach of education which is intended to shift all these red area. This red area means they're passed for the academics, but they don't have that much of competencies to be successful in their workspace. So we want to make them successful. We want to equip them with a number of competencies. So outcome-based education is an approach of education which is intended to shift the entire red space and this blue space into this green space, isn't it? That is what outcome-based education focuses. So that is why in an outcome-based education, we could see a number of POs. It's been showcased, like discipline knowledge, communication skills, creative thinking, ethics, environment sustainability, like that. A number of competencies, a bunch of competencies. That is nothing but this y-axis. So academical thing, x-axis, and this y-axis is also should be catered into. And these two should be linked together so that they are not moving horizontally. They should be moving laterally like this, so that they become both academically sound as well as develop competencies that make them successful in their life and career. So this should be the pathway. Horizontal slide. It is not a horizontal slide. It is like they should move like this, so that they will be reaching this area where they are academically sound as well as competitive to meet any challenges. So this is what outcome-based education means. So with this knowledge, you can just read what is outcome-based education really is. You can read it. Because I want you also to be very active when we are discussing about this. So outcome-based education is okay. The model of education that deviate from traditional focus. What was the traditional focus? Giving more importance to our x-axis. We want the students to qualify, get good marks, academically sound. That is the traditional focus on what the institution provides to students. In favor of making them what? In favor of making the students demonstrate that they know, means whatever the academical soundness should be know and able to do that. This is the new thing that should be included and ensured, because all these competencies are there, but we have to ensure it. So the y-axis part, the set of competencies which has been showcased in the previous slide, has to be ensured. So an outcome-based education focuses an assurance of learning both in the academical domain as well as in the competency-based domain, so that they become successful. They are no more confused graduates. They are successful graduates who are capable of taking up any project or responsibilities related to their area of study, or with respect to their social accountability or everything like that. So this is what outcome-based education means. So we just to say, when we say outcome-based education, we just to say know and do. What is know and do? I think the previous slide has given you a clarity on know and do. That should be clubbed together to make them successful in their life. So that is the importance of outcome-based education. That is why if you want to, the outcome-based education should not be implemented only in the website or in the papers. This should come to the heart of the students. They should be a productive citizen. That is why in the previous class I've told that the quality of the colleges is not decided by the input, not only the input, what you provide, but it is decided on the basis of the output, how the students move out of the educational institutions and how successful they are after getting out of your educational institution. That is the mark of quality which is being assessed in future. Being the first segment of this workshop, it will be better to identify these are the 4 pillars on which the outcome-based education is being built. That is the 4 principles. One, the outcome-based education brings the clarity of focus. Because outcome, by clarity, outcome itself gives where to go and what should be the end. So when the end is defined in a clear and specific way, definitely our intention is to reach that end point, isn't it? So outcome-based education is prefixing the end point first, so that the clarity is there where to reach. That is what outcome-based education. I will just give you an analogy. Normally, I used to, in most of my segments, I used to say this. Suppose if you are going to build a house, So what is your objective? You have an objective of building a house. So with this, at this point of time, you don't have any clarity on how your house is going to look like, isn't it? For that, you may be having, okay, you're going to build a house in a 20 cents of land. Okay, you have a budget of about 50 lakhs, a normal house of 50 lakhs. And you want it to be about 2,000 square feet or something like that. So you want to build a house like that. So all these things are clear to you, but still, what is the final form of the house is not been evident, isn't it? The final, how your house is going to look like is not clear. So if when you're going to build a house, you'll be consulting with an architecture, you'll be sharing all these things. Till this point of time, you have intention, you have an objective of building an house, but the clarity on how the house is going to look like is not clear, isn't it? So instead of this, you can come to another scenario. Suppose if you have an appreciation to any specific house near your locality, or if you have some house in your dream, with the permission of the owner, after getting the permission of the owner, if you want to take the architect and say that I want to build a house exactly like this. Suppose if you're having an idea regarding any particular house which has been already there, and you want to build a house exactly like that. So what is the if you have got a permission from that particular house owner to, okay, you can also take that architect the design. So if the design is there, and if you are showing to the architect that this is the house that you need it, so you are giving the final format of the house. And when the final format, this is the house that you are going to build, when the final format is ready, then there is a clarity how this house is going to look like. So what the architect will do, the architect will try to develop the design from the end point. He will design down backward, and he will come with a blueprint of the house, so that the final house will be like that. So this is what outcome-based education emphasizes. So what should be the end? What should be the final output? What should be the final product will be showcased first, isn't it? And what is our effort? What is our effort? Our effort is to streamline all the architectural process, so that by the end of the construction, the house that you have identified first will be built in your plot. This is what outcome-based education. That is, before starting your class, if you're going to a class, before starting the class, you should identify on completion of the class what the students are capable of doing. Just like identify what should be the final format of the house, you have to identify what is the final format, what is the final thing that the students are able to do. And you have to steer all the learning experiences so that this is done. Suppose if you're teaching, suppose if you are given a a course to handle. Suppose if you're handling a paper, what should be taken, what should be identified first? That is, on completion of the entire paper, on completion of the entire course, what the students are capable of doing by your 6 months class. That should be showcased first. Just like identifying the that you're going to build, you have to identify what the students are capable of doing after completion of the course. That should be identified first. And all the curricular activities should be designed from that point. So all the curricular activities should be so streamlined. So by the end of the course, you should assure that what you have showcased first is met. And the same thing, what I told that by the end of the program, what the students are capable of doing be showcased first before starting the program. So this is the strategy that the outcome-based education adopts. So this brings clarity. Suppose the end point is there, then the way you can identify the path that lead to the end point. So this is what the clarity of focus. The end should be identified first and showcased at the beginning. So the path way to the end should be identified in a very clear and clear. So this is what clarity of focus. Designing down. That is, you are designing your activities, taking into consideration of the end point, isn't it? Designing down. High expectations. This is Bloom has anybody can learn. So there is no notion that your students will not be able to do this thing or that thing, because it has been already said that if you are creating an environment, conducive to the learning spaces and the students, definitely anybody can learn. So the outcome-based education gives a very priority, has got high expectation on the students, as well as it suggests an expanded of expert opportunities. A diversification of activities should come into that is not only the traditional thing should be there. There should be a diversification of activities should come into your classroom. That is why when you're going with the NAAC accreditation, what are the innovative practices that you have done? So every classes should be filled with some innovations, some stimulus variations, or diversification of activities that make the activities live and steer the students to the end point which you have prefixed first. That is what outcome-based education. So this has to be digested, and you have to make it happen in your classrooms. So normally up to this point, I've seen many colleges, the outcome-based education is only in the websites or in the papers. The outcome-based education do not take its life when interacting with the students. So if you are taking all these things into the mind, definitely you can interact with the students in this line. That gives a meaning to your implementation of outcome-based education. Or else what happens is that the outcome-based education will be sleeping in the web portal or in the form of outcomes which has been showcased there. So this is the architecture of outcome-based education. You'll be familiar with this one. So you can just go through this architecture because every institution will be having a vision and mission, and the vision and mission will decide the modus of operandi of your institution. Definitely, that will be there in every institutions, and all these activities will be in the lines of the vision and mission, obviously. And that one odd man. When we say outcome-based education, everything should be centered around outcome. If you are taking the program will be having a program level outcome. If you're taking the course will be having course level outcome. If you're taking a small module to teach, that will be having an outcome, internet learning outcome. If you're giving a project, that project will be having an outcome related to that project, intended learning outcome of that project. If you are giving an examinations, the examination will be having and should be related to an outcome. So everything will be revolving around that outcome. That is outcome-based education. And in this, only one odd man here, that is program educational objective. What is program educational objective? Here you can see two lines, two arrows, one coming from top to down, isn't it? One going from bottom to. What does it signify? That is where now going development of curriculum or formulation of curriculum, you have to from top to down. That is the vision and mission of the college will be having an impact on what? Impact on program educational objectives. Educational objectives will be having an impact on program outcomes and program specific outcomes. And program specific outcomes will be having an impact on course level. So while formulation, it will come from top to down. So let us examine a little more detail, because in this segment, when we are going with this architecture, we have to go and drill deeper into what each of these segments emphasizes. What is program educational objective? In very simple terms, program educational objectives are nothing but the specific objective. Or I would say that it is the immediate objective of the immediate educational objective of the program. Educational objective means the immediate goals, the immediate goal of the program. What do you mean by immediate goal? That is what the students are capable of doing when they pass out of their educational institution. That is, probably we know that after a student passing out of that graduate program, they'll be looking for a job, isn't it? So they should be able to get a good job, and they should be able to comfortably sustain in that particular job, or they have to go for a higher education, isn't it? These are the immediate goals of the graduate after graduation. They have to go into the society and live as a member of the society and contribute actively with the society, isn't it? So they have to lead a complete living, a complete life of their own. They have to contribute to the society. They have to work in along with the in the career space. All these things are the immediate goals. So this is something that on formulation of the curriculum, we have to identify what are the immediate goals that your programs focuses. So this will be showcased first. And below that, what is program outcome? And now we are coming to the outcomes. What is this outcomes? As I've told that the program outcome means that program level. That is after completing the program. What all things that the students are capable of doing? Or I would rather say that it is better to say that on completing of the program, what are the competencies that the student should acquire? That is the most better way of doing saying that. So before starting the program, you have to identify what are the competencies that the students should acquire on completion of this program. This should be identified and kept first, isn't it? Different competencies will be there, like communication skills, or the skill for using modern medias, or the competencies of leadership, or the skill for working together as a team, or the skill of project management, the skill of social accountability. Like that, a number of skills is important, isn't it? In the previous slide, I've shown that what an x-axis that makes them successful in their life and career. So the program outcomes are nothing but they are identified in terms of what are the skills. So before starting the program, that is the college should identify what are competencies the student should acquire on completion of this program. These competencies could be identified as graduate attribute. So graduate attributes are nothing but the competencies that the student should acquire on completion of this program. I think it is made clear. Graduate attribute. These graduate attributes should be identified first, and on completion of this program, this graduate attribute has to be attained. So graduate attribute will be in the form of what? A set of competencies. So the program outcomes are nothing but these graduate attributes written in a verbal form. Suppose if I say communication skill, what does communication skill means? That is the ability to read, write, comprehend, negotiate, various roles like that. All these things comes under what? The graduate attribute, communication skill. So a student acquiring a communication skill, what they're capable of doing. If I'm writing the graduate attribute verbal form, it will become what? A outcome. So every graduate attribute you can literally or verbally state it in the form of what the students are capable of doing by acquiring that particular graduate attribute. Normally, there is a lot of confusions which has been happening. What is graduate attribute? What is program outcome? In essence, both are same. So graduate attribute is a bunch of competencies. By acquiring that bunch of competencies, what is the outcome? What the students are capable of doing? By acquiring that graduate attribute, we can say it as. So both the graduate attribute and outcome are same. So it is a single, that is a word, communication skill. It is a graduate attribute, and when it is written in the form of what the students are capable of doing by acquiring the graduate attribute, it will become an outcome, isn't it? So these program outcomes and program specific outcomes are nothing but the different competencies that they have to acquire on completion of this program. So this is showcased first. And written in the form of outcome. And in an outcome-based education, what should happen? When the students leave, there should be an assurance of learning. That is, these outcomes should be met. That is what these outcome-based education give importance. And let us see what is the connection between these two. The program educational objectives or the educational goals and these graduate attributes should be connected, because these graduate attributes are the program outcomes are nothing but it is derived from these educational objectives, because these graduate attributes are competencies are the inputs to the students which make them actualize these educational goals. So these graduate attributes and these educational outcomes are interconnected. So these are the competencies which make them successfully attain these educational goals. So these graduate attributes which are showcased here should be in line with the educational objectives, because these competencies are something that make the student actualize the educational goals. So these two are connected. That is why this arrow is coming from top to down. Identify the educational objectives, and on the basis of this educational objectives, identify what all competencies are essential for actualization of these educational objectives. These competencies are called graduate attributes, and when they're verbally written in the form of an outcome statement, we can call it as program outcome. I think I made the explanation clear here. And here you could see program outcome and program specific outcome. What is the difference? They are exactly the program level outcome. Program level outcome. Because in the colleges, there will be science students, there will be art students, there will be management students, and all these students will have some common attributes, like communication skill is important for everyone, team spirit is important for everyone, isn't it? Likewise, the creative thinking, problem solving ability, all these things which is common competencies which is essential for entire students, we can group together and call it as general graduate attribute. And general graduate attribute, when they're written in the form of outcome, we can call it as program outcome. But there are different courses, like there will be BA literature, there will be BSc mathematics, there will be BCom, like that. There will be different courses which has been, there will be different programs which has been given. So every program will be having specific outcomes related to their domain. So domain specific outcomes. Domain specific outcomes, we can call it as program specific outcomes. So both these are program level outcomes. So I think this is made clear. And what is CO? COs are these program outcomes and program specific outcomes are acquired, are attained. How? By through the different subjects and activities that you give as a part of the program. So all these program outcomes are attained through the different courses and the different activities that you provide as a part of your curriculum is nothing but the tools that the teacher is using to craft the students in the lines of program outcomes and program specific outcomes. So definitely every semester will be having obviously about 5 to 6 subjects or courses. So since it is outcome based, all these courses should be identified in terms of outcome. So you can select a course by identifying what is the outcome that this course bring to the students. So that should be identified. Course and course level outcome. Course and course level outcomes. And these courses that you give as a part of the program should be aligned with what? The graduate attributes or the program outcomes that you identified as a part of the program. So these are the tools by which these outcomes are met. So they are interconnected. So I think it is clear. So when you are going with the formulation, you have to start from top to down. The vision and mission of the college will be identify what should be the goal of the college, and the goals of the college will identify what are the graduate attributes that you should ensure in the students for identification, for attainment of these goals. And these are ensured through the different courses. So what are the different courses and course level outcomes that makes these program outcomes and program specific outcomes like? So this is the architecture of outcome-based education. And here you can see one arrow. So here, this is how assessment happens. So you are not directly going and assessing to what extent the program educational objectives are met, or to what extent the program outcomes and program specific outcomes are met. You are not directly assessing it. You are assessing it from the grassroots level. How the assessment takes place. The course level outcomes attainment is calculated on the basis of the different activity that you give as a part of the course. So every courses will be having different activities, like assignments will be there, seminars will be there, projects will be there, portfolios will be there. So all that activities related to the course will help you to calculate the course level attainment of that particular course. The course level attainment of the entire programs will help you to calculate the program level attainment. So attainment will be going from bottom to top. So this is the architecture. I think this is what the essence of today's segment about the architecture, how it look like, what is program educational objectives, what is program outcomes, what is a graduate attribute, what is the relation between graduate attribute and outcome, and how this graduate attribute through the different courses. So these courses together with the course outcomes should be included into the program, so that by attainment of this course outcome, definitely what will be attained, the program outcomes will be attained automatically, because the courses are selected in lines of the program outcomes. Okay, so let us identify the paradigm shift in the educational system. Okay, now it is a question for you, because it's a long-term hearing to me. Here you can see that the traditional system, this is not the professor, this is a scholar in the traditional system, and this is the scholar in the contemporary system, or you could say that an outcome-based educational scenario. What is the difference? What is the difference you observe from these two pictorial, from this obviously from this image? You can put it in chat, because at the previous slide I was been explaining a lot, so I want to take some I want to give some relaxation for you to answer this. What's the difference? I am eagerly looking at the chat. You can put. What is the difference? Here, the traditional system. What does the traditional? Consider this as a book. This guy has been carrying a book, and this guy is handling a number of things. What is the difference really here? You can put it in chat. Okay. Okay. The chat is there. I was okay. Multiple skills, smart world, multitask. Very good. So this is all the change about. Here, traditionally, we are giving importance to what? Academical inputs. If you are having good result, academically distinctions, that make everything big. Now the change. Now we have changed, isn't it? The first slide which I've shown you is the best slide. That is together with the academics, we want them to be competent with a different task. So the present system or the outcome-based education want the scholars to be multitaskers. They should be equipped with multiple competencies. Is it a time management, project management, computer, there's ability to handle new technologies, creative thinkers, together with what? Together with the academical soundness. So this is the paradigm shift. We want the students to be dynamic. We want the students to be multitaskers. We want them to be competent with a multiple ability that makes them successful in their life, in their career, etc. And I would like to share your joke, because once I was going with the offline classes, and the same slide I've shown to the teachers just for a joke. They says that so traditionally the students were not wearing the spectacles. Now they are wearing I am also having a specs like, right? So they're having a specs like you. So obviously when they're multitasking, when they're more going with the tech savvy, obviously the specs will be a part of that. So it's for a joke. So so this is the paradigm shift from academical to a multitasking. That is what they really want. Now we are drilling down into because in the previous slide about the architecture of outcome-based education, I have given you a holistic picture, about an outcome-based education, and how an institution which have implemented outcome-based education will look like. Now, just drilling deeper into the different components and just showcasing it. Here, I will not be giving much explanations, because I explained a lot when I was giving you detail about that architecture. So these are the different components that you have read in that architecture. What is program, educational, objective? The single out man in that series, objective. I just mentioned it is what? It is what? The immediate educational goal. Why do I say immediate educational goals? Because when the student pass out of the educational institution, the first few years, probably 2 to 3 or 4 years, the major impact on the students will be the influence that you have given to them. That is, whatever thing that they have acquired from the colleges will be influencing them in their initial few years. After about 10 to 15 years, it is not that they have acquired from the college, it is what they have gained from their life experiences will be changing their approaches and ways and means, etc. So that is why we say that if I say goal, it will be distant. That is why immediate goal, that is why we say that objective. That is, program educational objective means immediate goals of the program. That is what the program, what the college want the students to happen within the first few years. That is what program educational objective means. So you can read it. They are broad statement that focuses on what the students are expected, futuristic, expected objective to attain within first few years after completion of the program. So that is program educational objective. So this is the goal of your program. And for actualizing these goals, what you need, you have to equip them with a set of competencies. So what are the set of competencies which is relevant for your jobs? That has to be identified as the graduate attribute. That has to be identified as the graduate attribute. This is just I have just given a dummy statement, a dummy objective, a dummy objective just for the course of the class, isn't it? You can I have just identified 3 program educational objective, PEO, 1, 2, 3. Just it is only a dummy. Just I want to just for to make my class substantiate my class. I just included. You can just identify that. You can read it. What is first one? Graduate will be able to demonstrate competency and leadership to become what? Professional, employee, and entrepreneur, leading to a successful career or pursue higher education. So what is my first educational objective of the college? Obviously, after graduation, most important thing is that they have to get into a good career, either as a employee, or as a professional, or as a entrepreneur. That is, we know that in engineering colleges and all, they are giving a lot of support for startups. So startups is something very bigger thing. Not only he is getting into an employment, but also he is giving opportunity for others also for employment, isn't it? A bigger level, a startup. So they give incubation centers and support for the startups, etc., etc., etc. So whatever it may be, it is all related to career, to fix them into a social metrics in a career space. Or after graduations, they may be going for post graduations or for some other study, etc. So that can be one educational goal, isn't it? After completing passing. Second one, you can just graduate will be able to demonstrate commitment towards preservation of environment and sustainable development of society. That's something very important. That is, when the student pass out, they have to live in the social metrics. So they have to be a contributor. They have to live in the society as an accountable member of the society, isn't it? They have to contribute to the social welfare, isn't it? Because society is a matrix which has been built about in a give and take. That is, you are serving the society in one way, and the society in turn will be supporting you in 1,000 ways. So this is it is a society that gives you an identity. So you have to be socially accountable. So you have to prepare the graduates to become an accountable member of the society, and also to live with the physical ecosystem, the environmental ecosystem in its real sense, by conservation, by having an attitude of conservation of the environment. So all these things are very important. So likewise, the institution can identify a few educational objectives. So this is the first thing when we go with formulation of objectives. So when the institution is going with an outcome-based education from the very beginning, from scratch, actually what we are doing is that we have everything there, and we are just transforming it into an outcome-based education. Suppose if we are building a curriculum from scratch, definitely we have to identify what should be the program educational objectives there. And it is from this program educational objective, we have to identify what are the competencies which the institution should ensure in the student so that they become successful in the lines of these educational goals. That is how graduate attribute has to be identified. Graduate attribute has to be identified in this line. This graduate attribute should be in line with the educational objectives. So you can just coming to the graduate attribute. In the previous presentation, I've said that both the graduate attribute and the outcome, program level outcome, are identical. Graduate attribute is nothing but a bunch of competencies. And when this bunch of competencies is written in the form of an outcome statement, we call it as a program outcome. So don't get confused. So when I say I may use both this graduate attribute and program outcome interchangeably. So don't get confused. So you can just identify the first program educational objective, which I showcased in the previous slide. Obviously, suppose if you have not read it, I have just showcased it here. Graduate will be able to demonstrate competency and leadership to become what? Professional, employee, and entrepreneur, leading to a successful career or pursue higher education. Suppose if this is the educational goal, if your institution is taking this as a program educational objective or educational goal, what are the different competencies you should ensure in the students to make it reality? So you can put it in chat. Suppose you are giving more importance to career. What are competencies you want to ensure in the students to make them successful in that career? Suppose if it is a BCom program. Suppose if it is a BCom program. You can consider marketing is the job area that you do. So what all competency you have to ensure the students to make them successful as a marketing executive, marketing manager? You can put it in chat. Yes, coming up. Yes, they have. Yes, communication skills should be there. The communication skill to negotiate. Likewise, a number of competencies will be related to what? This particular educational objective. So this is how we have to filter out the graduate attributes in lines of what the educational objectives that you have given, you are taken into consideration, isn't it? So here we have a set of graduate attributes which are suggested by UGC. It is just like a buffet. So these are the different graduate attributes. These are some of the graduate attributes which has been suggested by UGC. You can just go through that, isn't it? Disciplinary knowledge, communication skill, critical thinking, problem solving, analytical reasoning, research-related skills, cooperation and teamwork, scientific reasoning, reflective thinking. Likewise, a number. This is not an exclusive list. You can add something more if you have got some different educational objectives. So these graduate attributes and the educational goals that you have identified first should be connected together, because it is these competencies that make them successful in the lines of educational objectives or educational goals. So here for the arts and science colleges, they have got the freedom to identify the graduate attribute and write the program outcomes accordingly, isn't it? The freedom is there. But for engineering colleges, these graduate attributes or the program outcomes are given by the NBA. That is, they are given a set of 12 graduate, a set of 12 program outcomes. Why they are identifying these program outcomes as the standard? It is because we are a part of the Washington Washington Accord. That is, we have signed the Washington Accord, which is a treaty by different developed nations like USA, UK, France, New Zealand, like that. We are also a member of these this country. We have signed this accord stating that our engineering colleges will be standardized with these 12 set of program outcomes. So we will be pursuing our engineering degree in the lines of these outcomes. And those tier 1 colleges, which has been accredited by NBA, the students who are passing out of these colleges will be equated to the engineering programs of all these countries which comes under this what you could say this Washington Accord. So they can transfer their learning to the other colleges without any additional requirements. They can go and take jobs there without any additional courses. There is an international mobility, which is a boon to them. So there are two things. This standardization of these outcomes will give a global standardization of the curriculum, as well as it gives an international mobility to the students to pursue their education for those who are in the tier 1 colleges. So definitely this approaches has been filtering down to the other arts and science colleges, and now in the new educational policy 2020, it has become mandatory that our arts and science colleges should go with the implementation of outcome-based education in its real sense. Before showcasing some outcomes will be okay. Now we have to include these approaches of outcome-based education in the higher education, so that we can elevate the students to a higher level. Because in the first slide, it is very clear that education will become purposive. That is what that course is intended for, will be assured if you are doing the outcome-based education in the real sense. And if you are just taking a look into these 12 outcomes, the first 5 are technical abilities, and these are the general attributes. That is the engineer and society, environment and sustainability, ethics, individual and teamwork, communication, project management, finance, lifelong learning. These are some common graduate attribute. So when we say in the arts and science college, we will call these common graduate attribute as what? Program outcome. And these are something specific to the engineering trade. If it is computer science, engineering knowledge will be related to computer science. Mechanical engineering, it will be related to that. Electrical and electronics, like that. So these are the first 5 program specific outcomes when we compare it with the format that we are adopting. I think that is made clear. Now we will just give some verbal statement to all these things. I'm sure that you got a clarity regarding what is graduate attribute, what is program outcomes. Now, my intention is to give a statement. Since it is a first section, I want you to identify a statement regarding what is program outcome. So, what is program outcome? We know that we are identified program outcome on the basis of on what rationale. These are something that the student should attain when the program is completed. Program means the entire degree program is completed. They should attain. So these are something what the student should attain on completion of the program. That is program outcome. You can read it with this knowledge. They refers to graduate attributes. Don't read this one. They refers to graduate attribute that the student should have at the end of the program. That is program outcome. And what is the format is graduate attribute? These graduate attributes will include what? Some graduate attribute will be related to knowledge. Some graduate attribute will be related to skills. Some graduate attributes will be related to attitudes. Have you seen it before? In the Bloom's taxonomy, we have referred learning as a change. Change can happen in what? Intellectual area, cognitive domain. And cognitive domain means knowledge. How knowledge progresses in the cognitive domain, knowledge. Or it can happen in the affective domain. That means attitude. Or psychomotor skills. Knowledge, skills, and attitude are the 3 pillars of education. So all these graduate attributes will be sometimes knowledge. Like domain knowledge Isn't it? Disciplinary knowledge, all these things are something related to knowledge base. Communication skills, they are skills. Ethics, environmental consciousness, environmental, all these things are our attitude towards environment. So all the graduate attribute can take either in the form of skill, knowledge, or so that is what now you can read it. Refers to the knowledge, skill, and attitude the student should have. Assurance is important. Should have at the end of the program. It is not may have. It is not may have. Outcome-based education, just like a closed door. If you want to open the students and let them out, these graduate attributes, these program outcomes should be met. That is the importance of outcome-based education. So the internal activities, the curricular framework that you are giving to the students should be such that when they pass out, this have to be attained. Their proficiency have to be attained. That is what. So, and PSO means the general attributes, we can call it as program outcomes, and that specific, which is related to the subject of study, it could be considered as program specific outcomes. It's a very beautiful, a colorful slide. So what is this? You can read what is it. This is the sample attainment of graduate attribute by a student who qualifies a program. That is when a student pass out of your college. Definitely, according to outcome-based education, you have first showcased a set of program outcomes. When the student pass out, these program outcomes should be met. Should be met. So to what level these program outcomes are met is been given in the form of mark. So obviously we know that traditionally when the student pass out, you will be giving them a mark list. What does mark list signifies? To what level? What is the scholastic attainment of the students with respect to different subject will be showcased by means of the mark list or the grade card. So here in outcome-based education, together with the scholastic attainment that you give as a mark list, you can give another mark list like this, another grade card like this. And what is this grade card? These include to what level these POs are attained. POs means to what level these graduate attributes are attained by each student. You can give. So there will be two cards. That is what x-axis. The first chart you have seen x-axis. That is academical marks. Y-axis, the set of competencies to what level they have met, isn't it? And this is so if let this be a marks of the competency card for or outcome the PO card for a student X for disciplinary knowledge. These are the different outcomes which we have taken, that particular college have taken, right? So here, these are the level of attainment. These are the level of attainment. So this is nothing but here the attainment is been marked. The attainment is been marked in a 4-point scale. That is 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4-point scale. Not 0. That is the first. 1. That is the second. 2, 3. The 4-point scale. So out of 3, how much they have attained? Just like when you go for a NAC accreditation, they will be giving you the score on the basis of 5-point scale, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of 4, 3.68, A plus, like that we say. So likewise, out of 3, what is the disciplinary knowledge level attainment? What is communication skill level attainment? Okay, you can identify it is like this. Isn't it? Suppose if it is a good practice to identify them, not by giving score, you can give them heat map like this. What is this heat map signifies? If the students are scoring more than 70%, high level attainment, green shows high level attainment. Okay, because all these things you can identify it through your academic council. High level attainment, 70% and more, high level attainment. You will say that 80% and more distinction, isn't it? Like that, you can say that 70% and more, high level attainment. 50% and more, moderate attainment. Below 50%, not attained. Low level attainment. So if you are saying that you want the students to attain more than 50%, if that is the target, you can say that more than 50%, okay, the students has attained, just like the qualifying mark. If they score more than 40%, they have passed. Like that, if the students have attained 50%, they have attained that particular. You cannot make sure that 100% attainment may not be possible. If you consider that, if the students scale more than 50%, you can consider that they have attained. Just like if you want to say 100% literacy, and a rate more than 90% has been considered as 10% literacy. Likewise, if the student complete 50%, you can fix the target. So that is the target. The minimum level that make the student, the minimum level that you have fixed for ensuring whether the student has attained. So here you can say that 50%, more than 50% is moderate, more than 70% is high. So here 2.3. That means if it is 3, that is something more than 2. Okay, 3 is green. This green, something more than 1.5 could be considered as what you could say moderate level. So what signifies here it is that normally we will be calculating the PO level attainment of these students. But now as such, we are not giving them as a scorecard. Why? Because there is a danger here. Because this, if you're giving it like this will be 100%. That is, you will be the best college you are coming with this, isn't it? This will be just like an academic profile. Suppose if you're going to an employer, the students will be writing, will be preparing an academical, will be creating a profile of competencies to attract the employer regarding their competencies and their capabilities. They'll be showcasing the different projects, etc. So if you're giving something like this will be like this will be just like an academic profile of the student. This will be because you are giving it. This will be an authentic, not academic, authentic profile of the students regarding their ability. So if you are giving like this will be an authentic profile which will be issued by a college regarding the ability of the students. But the problem is that if this is not, suppose if we are giving communication skill 2.8 out of 3, 2.8, that is high communication skill. Suppose if the employer is looking for a marketing job, definitely he'll be the best person because he have got a very good communication skill, and that is one important competency which is needed for communication or something like that. So he'll be appointing him. And if the student is able to write his name correctly or to draft a communication correctly, then what will happen? You have given them 2.8 out of 3, but he is not able to write a single statement correctly without any error. If he is writing one statement, there is 10 error. Then what is the validity of validity of the this card that you give? So that not on the student but on you. So this could be, that is why now at this stage you can keep it as document at the institutional level to ensure that whether everything is going fine. And when the credibility is important, that is this is an assessment tool. One important criteria of an assessment tool is that it should be valid. Validity means it should measure what it intended to measure. Suppose if you're going to a grocery shop and getting 1 kilo of sugar, he gives you 1 kilo of sugar, and when you come home and when you reweigh it, if it is 600 or 700 grams. So what is this effect? The same effect will happen. So you can issue it to the students as a credential card to them only when your assessment system is matured and give a real-time assessment. So in the long run, we will be able to in a position to issue the students together with the mark list. Their proficiency card could be issued when the assessment comes in the right way. Otherwise, it will be something documented as a document in the college in order to understand how the things has been happening, and we can test the validity through, because in the OBE scenario, assessment do not stop with the college activities. Indirect assessments will be there. The students are given opportunity for self-assessment. After they move out of the college, you have to make follow-up of the students' your scholars' performance after they're moving out of the colleges, from the entrepreneurs as well as from the peers on how they're performing. And on the basis of that, you have to ascertain the validity of your what you could say the score that you have given to the students in terms of the outcomes. And only when this is become tuned and you ascertain the validity, you can issue them as a credential card for their academic as well as their these professional level performance. And coming to course outcomes. So far we have been discussing about program level outcome, what the students are capable of doing on completion of the program. So when you say outcome-based education, all activities should be centered around. So if you are given a course to handle, that is, suppose if you are given a paper to handle in any semester. So what is the first important thing that you have to ascertain when you come to an outcome-based format? That is, we have to first identify what the students are capable of doing on completion of the particular course. That has to be identified first. Just like what the students are capable of doing when they complete the program and leave. Just like that, what the students are capable of doing on completion of the course should be identified first. So that is course outcome. And this course outcomes will be definitely in line of the program outcomes, because we have selected the course in order to ensure the program outcome is met. So before starting with the course and activities, the first important role of the teacher is to identify what is the program outcome. That is, when a student complete the that particular course from your college through you, what will they be able to do on completion of this course? This should be identified and showcased, just like a catalog. It will be just like a catalog. If you're buying a product, what are the product specifications? Isn't it? If you're buying this product, what are the product specifications? A catalog will be there. Just like that. If they're doing that that course from your college through you, what is the specifications? What are they capable of doing? Should be identified and listed first. And on completion of the course, it is not a mere ad. On completion of the course, this has to be. So that is course outcome. So course outcomes are what, in the same line that we have discussed in program outcome. The course outcomes are resultant knowledge and knowledge, attitude, and skill the student acquire at the end of the course, isn't it? And normally the program outcomes are written from the college level. The college level, the college will be identifying the program outcomes commonly for the entire programs, as well as program specific outcomes will be identified from the department level. And course level outcomes should be identified by the group of teachers who are handling that particular college through consultations. So how to write a course level outcome? So a course level outcome has got it is a domain specific outcome written using action verb. It is here the Bloom's taxonomy becomes significant. So you can identify the action verbs in the lines of Bloom's taxonomy, which are specific, measurable, and demonstrated. So the action verbs which are measurable, which are not vague, which are measurable. So this is how. So if you are taking a course outcome will be a statement. If you are if you are inspecting the course outcome, the statement, this course outcome will have got two components. Will have two components. What component? One what? The action work, and then the learning state. So these are the two components which comes in the outcome statement. And the action verb will be identified from where? From Bloom's taxonomy. Suppose if you are identifying the action verb from understanding level, what does it signify? That is your learning outcome. Through your learning process, you will be elevating the students to an understanding level. That brings clarity to you are only taking the students to an understanding level. Only conceptual knowledge is given to the students. Only conceptual knowledge is given to the students. You have explained the only theory. You are taking only that much. Suppose if you are taking the action verb from application level, what does it signify? You are elevating the students to little more higher level, so that you are giving different situations to them so that they can apply the learned knowledge in relevant situations. So action verb from Bloom's taxonomy will give you a clarity on to what level your classes will take the students in the learning ladder. So that is something very important, isn't it? So when you come to the next class, when Mendes sir will be handling with mapping, this action verb of the outcome and the action verb of the question, you know that every question could be identified in terms of an action verb, isn't it? Explains, isn't it? Analyze, illustrate, compare. Every questions will be having an action verb which will identify the level of learning that question is addressing. Similarly, the outcome is also having an action verb. So you can map a question to the outcome by comparing these action verbs. If the action verb are coming barabar, same level, strongly, if they're coming in between, the mapping will be moderate. And if the action verb of the question is at a lower level, then it will be only weakly mapped. So that will be very clearly explained by Dr. Mendes in his upcoming. So this is the importance of action verb. Action verb will help you to map this activity to the corresponding outcomes. So every outcomes will be written in the form of action verbs. So this is the formula for writing an outcome. A simple outcome. That is, suppose in an outcome-based education, everything will be centered around outcome. If you're going to take a class, then what should be identified first? What should be the outcome of that class should be identified. And all the activities should be constructively aligned to that outcome. If you're going to teach a topic, isn't it? Then the topic should be having an outcome. And by completing the topic, this outcome should be met, isn't it? If you are going to teach a complete course, a subject as a whole, you have got a set of outcomes, isn't it? By completing the course, this outcome should be met. So everything should be centered around outcome. So in order to, so at the first instance, let us identify you are going to teach a small topic for about 1 hour. So how to write an outcome for your class. So this is, you can identify here. And that formula, you can expand it to course level. You can expand it to program level, isn't it? So this is the formula. The formula has got two components. What are the two components? Action verb plus learning statement. Learning statement. Suppose in an introductory class, you are going to teach students Ohm's law. Your objective is to teach Ohm's law. That is your objective. But the outcome is not relevant. On completion of your class, what the student should be able to do? They should be able to define Ohm's law. That means a very lower level. After your classes, the students are able to define Ohm's law. Define Ohm's law is the outcome you are expecting from the students. Define Ohm's law. Define means what? Action verb. Learning statement means Ohm's law. Suppose if you want to calculate resistance or something like that, isn't it? How can you write that outcome? apply Ohm's law for calculating resistance of such and such things. So what is that outcome? Apply higher or little more higher. Apply what? Ohm's law. So that is the outcome you are expecting after your class. So after the class, if the students are able to do that, clearly your statement what the students are capable of doing, if they're able to do that, the outcome is better. So making things clear, isn't it? Not vaguely teaching something. After completing, clarity should be there. If the students are able to do that, okay, your class is a success in the lines of outcome study. This is how the outcome should be identified. So on teaching a topic, what the students are capable of doing should be specifically listed, isn't it? That is what. So I'm handling one paper, operational research for MCA program at Marine College. So here you can just identify optimization techniques, isn't it? You can just see how I rate. I want the student to appraise. You can just identify the Bloom's taxonomy will give you a picture about to what level you are taking the students in the learning ladder, isn't it? Appraise means what level? What level? A very high level, isn't it? Application and analysis, and then appraise means evaluation level. So you are taking the student to a very high level. Appraise what? The effectiveness of optimization techniques. So because different optimization techniques will be there for different situations. So if I've given them a particular situation, which is the optimization technique is the most effective for that particular situation, the student should be able to appraise that. So for that, they should know what is optimization. They should know the different techniques. They should use this technique. They should analyze how these different techniques are working, and then they should be able to come up with the final judgment. This is the best. So this is what I want the students to acquire. See how writing appraise. This is why Bloom's taxonomy is important. The Bloom's taxonomy help you to identify to what level you are taking the students in that educational ladder and what topic you are handling. So that is the learning statement, optimization technique, effectiveness. And I am also setting a context. I can say effectiveness of optimization technique means that is a broad one. I am delimiting it to a business scenario or an industrial scenario. So appraise effectiveness of optimization technique in what context in the industry. So that has given you a small. Okay. So this is the general format of writing an outcome. Suppose if you're going to teach a class, what is the final expectation? That is what is the final thing that you want the students to do? That is identified first, and your activities, learning experience, formative evaluations should be constructively aligned to this outcome. That is how that teaching and learning should progress. So now, so I think it is clear. So now I am just giving you a small task. I will not ask you to put it in chat or something like that. When you go to the LMS, there is a Padlet which has been embedded in the LMS. You can prepare these outcomes and post it in the LMS. And there are different outcomes which is posted by the because we have been giving a number of series of classes in this line for the last many months. So you can see the faculty, other faculty which is related to your domain who have showcased these outcomes. So that will be helping for you to understand their thoughts and their way of writing, your way of writing. You can make comparisons. You can collaborate. So that will be very effective. So you can just not to write. You can just take any particular topic, isn't it? Suppose if you are going to teach a topic of or this principles of organization or management, something like that. What is the outcome you are expecting for your class? You can just formulate it and write. And now you are going to correct it by your own. I don't ask you to put it in chat. You can just write and keep. I think it maybe you have written. Okay, maybe you have written. You can. So you can now just correct it. You can correct it. You can read this. It is a good practice. It is not. I didn't say that it is a wrong practice. It is a good practice not to use these verbs, because outcomes can be written at a what level? Program level. Outcome can be written at a course level. Outcome can be written as a micro outcome, can be written as a day-to-day teaching topic level, teaching topic level. So when you are identifying the outcome at the lower level, you are identifying, you are observing, you are assessing that outcome at the lower level, isn't it? So these outcomes, when you're writing at the course level or when you're writing at the topic level, it is a best practice to avoid these verbs, because these verbs are not visible. Suppose your outcome is that you want to make the students understand Ohm's law. Understand Ohm's law means, how can you identify understanding Ohm's law? Is that outcome reveal what the students are capable of doing? Understand Ohm's law. How will you? You can ask. Did you understand? They will. Okay, shake that. Is it a way of assessing it? No. What the students are capable of doing, isn't it? Explain Ohm's law with respect to examples. Means what the students are able to doing is being very clearly specified. So outcome should be observable. That is it. So outcome should be observable and measurable. So understand, appreciate, aware, cover, know, all these things are not visible. They are written for writing objectives. Outcomes are objectives made visible in terms of what they are capable of doing. Clarity explains what they're able to do. If they're able to explain, okay, that outcome is met. So they should be observable and measurable, especially. But I've seen many institutions are showcasing the outcomes with these vague verbs. But for PO level, it's okay. You are not directly measuring PO. And to a greater extent, CO level, okay. But if you are having appropriate, observable, and measurable verbs, it is always the best practice to go with that. And I repeat, I don't say that writing outcome with these verbs are wrong. Not wrong, but a good practice. You can just check a comparison of outcomes. Comparison of outcomes. And suppose the student will understand democracy. I am going to take a class on democracy, right? We're going to take a class on democracy. Okay. So what the students are capable of doing? Understand democracy, do not depict what they're capable of doing. Suppose if I say that, describe major theories of democracy or major principles of democracy, then it is clear. This is what I expect them. At the final, they should be able to explain it or describe it like that, or compare democracy with some. So it will be like that. And here, the students will study about the impact of cultural diversity on nursing care. That is not clear. That is not clear. They will study. That is not observable. It can be an objective, but here, evaluate the impact of cultural diversity on nursing care. Evaluate the impact of. This is what the students are capable of doing after completing that particular paper, isn't it? So all these things will be taught, and by the end of the paper, they should be able to evaluate. Clearly stated. The students will learn about the principles of formulation, the principles of drug formulation. Something is omitted here. Drug formulation and delivery system. Learn. Not clarity is not there. Explain the principles. This is what they are capable of doing. So now I am going to give you something, a new picture. These outcomes and the question that you put in the question paper have a similar structure, the same structure. And what I would like to say is that an outcome is a glorified question. Why you are asking question? Just to check to what level they have attained. And outcome is that what level they have attained will be prefixed first. So both of them will have a same format. Don't get confused, isn't it? So if you want to map a question to outcome, first identify whether the question and outcome is from the same domain, learning statement, and check out whether the levels according to Bloom's taxonomy are barabar, or something closer to that. It will be high, moderate, and that you will be doing it in the next class. So as I've told that you will be having a quality check after writing. Obviously, I'm sure that. I've just given you a formula for writing an outcome. And if you want to write a course outcome, how you can write? Isn't it? There are two ways: longitude and cross-sectional. Cross-sectional way means that sometimes your course will be having about 5 modules or 5 units. Take a unit, isn't it? You can ask a question to yourself: what the students are capable of doing on completion of that unit. You will be getting an answer. That answer you can put it in the form of that outcome formula, action word, as well as the learning statement and the context, isn't it? So don't write if there are 10 points, don't write 10 outcomes, isn't it? It is a best practice to keep the course outcome limited to 5 to 6 or 7, isn't it? 5 to 6 or 7. It all depends upon. Don't go with 10 to 15 or 20 outcomes, because by the end of the course you have to sit and calculate all these outcomes, and these outcomes has to be mapped onto POs, and the calculation will become very hectic. So optimal number of 5 to 6 will be always keep better. Okay, so that is how you can write an outcome cross-sectionally or longitudinally. Don't go with unit wise. Take the entire subject as a whole and ask the question, isn't it? What all they are capable of doing. So if you are putting it like this, that is a single question may be related to 2 or 3 outcomes. If you're taking cross-section, obviously one module one outcome. If you're taking one question, it will be connected to that particular outcome. So okay. So the quality check of a good outcome could be identified like this. There are four quality checks. First, are they written using action verb to specify definite and observable behavior? Observable, explain, isn't it? Illustrate, summarize, compare, observable behavior, isn't it? So whether there is an action verb and whether this action verb depict what the students are capable of doing. That is one criteria. What is the second criteria? Does the language describe the students' target rather than teacher's behavior? That is obviously, if you are writing an objective, that is, objectives are point of view of the teacher, what the teacher intend to do. And outcome means what the students are capable of doing. So whether on reading that outcome, whether you get an idea on what the students are capable of doing. If you get it, then the second criteria is okay. So you can phrase an outcome in such a way that what the students are capable of doing. Then second. The third one is that do the outcome clearly describe the abilities, knowledge, learning part of values students of the course. Suppose if you are writing the outcome with respect to some learning statement, whether the outcome depict that particular learning statement. Suppose if I'm writing an outcome regarding optimization technique, whether that content part is being specifically placed in that outcome. If I'm teaching about Ohm's law, whether it is being specifically placed in that outcome. That is something very important. And the last one is that, is it possible to collect accurate and reliable data for that outcome? Because in an outcome-based education, we have got two options, one formative and the other summative. Formative evaluation means that would steer your activities while teaching. That is, whether the outcome is attained during your teaching process. So whether you are able to get evidences that these outcomes are met. So whether you have, that is whether you are able to identify, that is whether you can give some activity or you can put some quiz or something like that. So whether you can collect accurate information to ensure the outcome is met. If all these 4 criteria are met, then your outcome is a good outcome. So normally, just a slide to showcase few outcomes. This is from physics. That which is written in this red is or maroon is the action word. Apply. What the learning statement, the Hooke's law to compute different types of responses in given material, isn't it? The learning statement is been connected with it. Analyze structural element of different forces. Explain the various principles of organizations, isn't it? Evaluate the safety and efficacy of drug classes. So here, all these outcomes are written with some action. Action verb signifies 2 things: what the students are capable of doing, and not only that, it also will ascertain to what level, to what height you are going to take the students in the learning ladder. So that is how the outcomes should be written. So not thank you. I will just give you on this that what is today's this task. So in the LMS, there is a task which has been provided to you. This is a task related to the quality check. And there, this activity is being presented in the form of a workshop activity. I think 2 days, for the first 2 days, your role will be to make an analysis of the outcome of any paper that you're handling. So the quality check of the outcomes of any paper that you are handling. And after that 2 days, then you will be shifted to a different role to evaluate the others' outcome that they are presented. So this task is a double-headed task. That is, one, evaluating your outcomes and submitting. Then you will be transferred to the role of evaluating the others' outcomes and giving comments. Sijan will be explaining more about, and there is also a standard operating procedure how to go and proceed with these assessment. So what you have to do is that, okay, you will be, what is the name of the course that you are handling? The name of the course, probably you can write it here. Introduction to the computer, whatever it may be. You can write the outcome code 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can write the outcome. You can write the outcome, isn't it? Suppose in the previous, okay, I am writing the explain the principles of the student should be able to explain the principles of organization. So this is one of the outcome. So in the remark card, that will be here. And you can check the 4 quality check is there. I have detailed. Are they written using the action verb? Okay, explain is there. So this is an understanding level outcome. So it is not no, it is yes. Second, does the language describe the students rather than? By reading this, it is clear. After completing one class, they should be able to explain what the principles of organization. So it really states what the students are capable of doing. And whether the learning part is being connected with that. Okay, principles of organization, it is there. Again, it is not no, it is yes. And whether you can have any, you can ask 1 or 2 questions or give them, you can ask a question so that whether they are able to explain, then that also could be ascertained. So all the 4 criteria are met, so it is a good outcome. If any one of the criteria is not met, the outcome needs improvement. So this is a very simple task. But the thing is that this is an automated, what you could say, this is an automated Excel sheet which is prepared by me. So just getting an opportunity to work with the outcomes and to the task is intended to go deeper into that outcome and to make some reflections on that outcome so that clarity will be there when you progress with your curricular activities for realization of these outcomes. So this is what is there for today's. And now I'm registering my thank you there. And I think, okay, now I'm stopping my presentations. I'm handling over to Sijin. If there is any questions, you could, we can discuss on that.
All right. Okay. If you have any questions for Dr. Sunil, please post them in the chat and we will take it. Now I see many people asking for LMS access. See, it's like this. To get LMS access, you need to make the payment to the account details that I have put in the chat. And you need to make the payment and give the a payment proof, send the payment proof to the WhatsApp numbers that is stated there. If you have still not got the LMS access after doing these steps, please contact the LMS. Please contact the WhatsApp number that is stated along with it. Okay, I'll put the details once again in the chat box.
There is someone. Obviously, it is your freedom. You can choose any course that you're handling. So I prefer you to choose the course that you're handling. So that makes you more and more clear, and we'll be able to check whether there is a need for any improvement or something like that. So if you have any doubt regarding this, you can raise it now. And also there in the LMS, there is a discussion forum where you can post it so that we can get the ideas from different persons. So that will make things a little more better. And still, if you have any doubts, if you want to put it to me, I'm just given my mail ID here. You can post your queries there. Because if you are giving through mobile, obviously, sometimes I may be busy. But if you are giving it in as a mail, I can answer any queries if you have any doubts. I can handle that. Probably it may take one day or something like that because I may be having some schedules and some busy. Anyhow, I'll be answering. If you are posting any questions to me, definitely I'll be answering. And regarding the task, the Sijin will be detailing on because Sijin, I think it is in a workshop format.
Yes,
Today's
it's in a workshop format. First, what they need to do is from today to 11th, 12th, 13th, it will be in the submission phase. So you can submit your work in these 3 days. From 14, 15, 16, it will be in the assessment phase where you will get other people's submissions to assess. So that is what you have to do in the LMS. And you have an SOP regarding that. You can read that carefully and then do accordingly. So first what you need to do is there's a file to be downloaded, and in these 3 days, 11, 12, 13, you can submit that work. And from 14, 15, 16, you can assess the work and you will be assessing your peers' work.
There is someone asking, can you please explain about course outcome survey? Course outcome survey in the sense probably you'll be referring to the assessments. When you go with outcome-based education assessments, there will be direct and indirect assessments. The indirect assessments will be done in the form of survey. Survey is an opportunity for the students for a self-appraisal of what they have attained, and the weightage will be added accordingly, 10% weightage from the survey, something like that. So that details will be given in the upcoming classes by Dr. Mendes. He'll be detailing about the mapping, about the calculation assessments, all these things. So you'll be clear when you go there. And also in the LMS also there is details.
Please note everybody, tomorrow we have the topic of mapping of outcomes, calculation of attainment and analytical reports, AI assisted assessments. This will be taken by Dr. Mendes Jacob. We'll be starting at 7 p.m. itself.
So I think there is no other questions has been coming up. So normally, if you have any more questions while going through your LMS activities, you can post it there in the forum where we will be collaborating our ideas. Not only me, but also the other experts as well as obviously you teachers also will be very experts in this domain. They'll be sharing their experiences. So that will be a good platform for more learning. So we can meet there. And if you have any questions to be answered at any time, you can mail me. I just shared my official mail here. You can mail. Anyhow, I'll be answering you within 1 or 2 days. Anyhow, you'll be getting your answers. So I think you can have a very good activities which is going to come in the upcoming sections. More and more AI or related activities as well as assessment tools. Obviously, you'll be enjoying. And when you come to the AI, all these things will get diluted. It is an approach where you can work with a smart way, where your AI tools will be supplementing your activities. So definitely, all these things will be a good learning. So I've shared my mail ID. You can check it there.
So there's a question: how to write a CEO for a lab course?
So the whatever be the courses, that is, if you want giving a lab courses, what is the output that you expect from that courses? That should be the student should be able to analyze such and such things. If the lab is salt analysis, the student should be able to analyze the given salt and identify this percent or identify the salt from the given salt like that. Okay. So what you are expecting should be showcased. What the students are capable of doing. For that, you have to do a number of experiments like that. So outcome based is whatever you do, you should fix an outcome. Not only CO and PO. If you are giving a lab activity, there is an outcome. If you're giving an assignment, there should be an outcome. All these outcomes should be aligned to what the outcomes that comes at the higher order. The order is the higher level is PO and PSO. The second level is CO, and the third level is the outcomes related to all that activities. So outcome related to all that activities should be aligned to COs, and COs should be aligned to POs. So that is how the flow should come.
Sunil sir,
Course having
okay.
The course having theory and lab, because the course will be having course level outcome as such, but that is a course level outcome. And when you are it is a good practice that when you're going for teaching any small topic from the course, you can identify that topic level outcome, isn't it? Topic level outcomes are micro level outcome related to the course. And if you're giving that lab, if the lab is a separate paper, for engineering the lab is separate paper, you can write outcomes with respect to that particular lab activities. Okay, if that lab is something related to the course, okay, you can identify as a topic learning or lab level outcome which is embedded inside the course. If it is the lab is a separate, it's been identified separately, you can have it separate outcomes like this. So, okay, I think there is no much questions is there. There is no much questions, so we can conclude this section. So, first of all, so let me thank you once again for very patiently waiting for such a long time, and also interactive. Well, I made 1 or 2 points interactive, and you have responded it very well. I'm very happy with that. So I think that in the LMS also you can work well there also with the LMS, so that you can gain a lot of experiences and knowledge regarding outcome-based education. So hope you will have a very better implementation of outcome-based education in your colleges. So thank you all. So in the upcoming sections, Dr. Mendes as well as Dr. Suresh Nambudiri will be taking up the sections. So thank you once again. So hope you have a pleasant evening. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Dr. Sudhir. Thank you for that wonderful session. Please join in tomorrow also, everyone, for the topic on mapping of outcomes, calculation of attainment, and analytical reports, AI-assisted assessments. This will be taken by Dr. Mendes Shekhar. We will start at 7 p.m. itself. Please be there on time. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful evening.